and welcome to the Barbados Table Tennis Center here in Nursery Road. This is the Barbados Olympic Association's 25 games in 27 days, part of the 50th anniversary celebration of independence of Barbados. Continued coverage tonight of table tennis. Semi-final action in play between Antoinette Riley and Danielle Watson. Watson in the blue, serving to Riley. Score 3-all now. Best of 7. Riley going long. Forcing Wharton deep in that back iron turn, but a little too hot on the pace. Also delicate on the returns. None of the two on the board at the moment. Really going for much power. A lot of finesse. The subtle adjustment in speed and tempo of the game. Really inching ahead at 7-5. Off the net band. Takes Riley to 8-5. Antoinette Riley, daughter of the local legend Gregory Riley, product of the hotbed of table tennis from the Robert Primary School. Went on to the lodge as well. Regional and local dominance in the 80s. As I look through the crowd, I can see one or two familiar faces from the old brigade. The likes of Chris Banfield, a stalwart at the club level. Somewhere along there, one of the coaches near the corner. Everton, Culturman, Ford. Also the long-standing coach, Mr. Harris. I saw Gregory Prosper, another one of the products of the Roebuck Street Boys School Table Tennis Academy. Many a national player and club player would have honed their skills there. I would have seen a few of them on Friday nights before I went to YPS at the Calvary Moravian Church. Nicole Aline, the scoring umpire at center court, herself from in the area. And a Paris of another name. No relation, but a Moravian all the same. is the chair umpire. And I have the fortune of being joined by not only the head honcho of table tennis in Barbados, but the man responsible for the overview of the Barbados Olympic Association's 25 games in 27 days. Colonel Brown, welcome.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Right. So I managed to recognize young Miss Riley, and remembering the name Gregory Riley, I understand that's his daughter.
No, Peter Riley.
Peter Riley.
Yeah,
Peter Riley.
that's right.
Aha.
She's been playing table tennis now since she was 9 or 10. She's Caribbean. She was Caribbean junior champion. She's done quite a lot so far in table tennis.
And this is Peter of Riley Electronics, Riley.
That
Peter Riley of Riley Electronics.
that's absolutely right.
Aha. I knew my Rileys.
The other player is Danielle Walton, a relatively new player, but over the last 2 years or so, she's actually come on quite well. She's playing a lot better, but not the same kind of experience that Antoinette would have.
And these games are going to 11.
These are going to 11. So over the last couple of years in table tennis, we've actually shortened the game to make it more exciting. They play more matches, so it's 5, 4, and 7. But
Best of
we
7.
go to 11 rather than 21 now.
Yes. And Riley took the first one.
The intent was to make it as exciting as possible, for television especially. Net has quite a strong serve, as you can see. Quite a lot of spin.
Oh,
When it works.
overcompensating for it, yeah.
Yes. That's a good shot. That's typical of that net.
And she has some subtle variations in her
Absolutely. That's the whole.
pace and tempo of her returns.
Yes, as I say, she has quite a lot of experience for her young age.
And I'm sure these would have locked horns on several occasions.
Constantly. So they know one another quite well. And is deceptively powerful and hits the ball with quite a lot of spin too, as you can see. So she's quite a strong player actually.
Nudging ahead here now at 8-6.
It's another
Putting
strong
that
shot.
one away across court beautifully. 9-6. I've seen Cultureman. He says he's coach of one of these.
Yeah, he was actually a player in the tournament. He got knocked out somewhere along the line, just like I did. But
and if I'm correct, he says he's coaching the winner. So I suppose he's coaching.
but as you know, Culture is always positive. Oh, that's a bad.
Yes. And you can see the coaches getting their bits of information in to each other.
Critical part of the game. Actually, it's almost at the international level. You'll be surprised the impact that the coaches have. What the coaches would have done is analyze the previous game, mainly looking at the weaknesses of the opposing player to see opportunities to exploit, and it actually can make a massive difference to the outcome of following games. Of course, if you are able to follow the coach's advice.
Yes.
So So we'll see to what extent that made a difference to the approaches from the two players now.
And the extent to which you put into play what you've been
The
training to
instructions
do.
that you received, absolutely. Danielle really needs to study her game. She's playing very nervously, I think, and missing shots that she normally would.
Not capitalizing on the errors of her
Absolutely
opponent.
not, right.
It's always interesting. You have a playing area with a finite size. That's over there.
The ladies' game tend to be a little slower, as you will know, quite a lot slower than the men's game. But table tennis is a very, very, very fast game. You're very close together. The ball travels great speeds, and it's a very light ball, so
Little room for error
little room for error.
and even less room for recovery.
One of the things you may have noted is that since we changed the score to 11, we've also changed the size of the ball slightly. It's actually a little bigger now. Now 40 millimeters rather than 38.
Wow.
And again, that was designed to be better followed by the camera at the high speeds.
And what about the colors in the ball? Sometimes you would have seen an orange.
Yeah, there are
ball.
two options. It's usually white or orange. And normally for tournament, you actually make a decision at the early stage which color you go with.
Really showing little or no mercy at this point in time, but it's 5-1. 2 games out.
Now, tactically, what you're saying here is a situation where the coach would have given instructions to change what she did previously. Sometimes that it doesn't work the way you expect, and what you may see now is that she may have to make adjustments mid-game. Right, clearly, what she's been told isn't working. So let's see how she will adjust to that situation.
7 serving 1, really ahead of Walton.
Of course, one of the options that the coach have is a timeout.
Body language all over the place.
Right, yes.
No real attempt to get that one back on. But once you're serving, you have a certain degree of control of how the point is played. The underdog being supported there, earning the point at 2-9. (10-2). Taking the third one at 11-2.
And clearly from that game, the new tactics didn't really work. So we'll see what the coach will actually, if he can detect any changes in her approach for what would otherwise be the last game. 4 best of 7.
And in most ball sports, the ball, when it's not in play, being kept by the umpire.
That's the standard international rule. The umpire takes charge of the ball. As I said, the table tennis ball is very light and very susceptible to tampering. A little piece of cobweb on the ball makes a massive difference to the way it spins and swerves and all that. So,
Temperature of the ball,
absolutely.
exposure to moisture.
Especially exposure to moisture. That's a favorite tactic. You hear about people serving wet balls. You kind of wet one side of the ball and it does wonders for the
Reverse.
Absolutely. So the role of the umpire is to make sure that those sort of things don't really happen.
Unfortunately, it can't be scuffed up like a cricket ball.
Nah, well, you could try, but I don't think it will actually work. Now, typically what we'll see is a different approach that will probably work, and we should see a much better performance from Daniel Walton.
So, Daniel Walton, down 3 games, serving to stay alive.
Okay, that's a good start.
Positive
Good
start.
strong serve.
1 love.
Very good.
Oh, yes.
See, so we see a change of tactics. She's far more aggressive than she was in the previous game. And if her confidence goes up, you can see a completely different change in the game.
Really controlling that point again.
Yeah, she's
Level it at 2 apiece.
serving a lot better
Battle
this
of
game.
service game.
Yes,
You know?
it is, yes.
And this one really just needs basically to hold serve. Already at 3 games. Let the nerves and the unfortunate position that Walton is in. Can't afford to be too aggressive, but still has to go for the points.
See the coach calling the timeout as to try to get her player back on track. So you have
indication
a 2-minute timeout.
of a timeout, and the umpire in the chair raised the card, and the scoring umpire placed the card on the side of the board, respective of the player who called the timeout.
Absolutely. Having called it, that's it for this. That would be it. So the other player can obviously call the timeout too, but normally when you're in the lead like this, you hardly would call the timeout. So this is probably Daniel's last chance now to pull herself together.
The world of television has revolutionized quite a few of the international sports to fit it in.
To fit into the television requirements, that's absolutely correct. As I said, even the size of the ball has been adjusted with television. That's a very weak serve. It's too high. You can't really serve like that at the net. So it looks as though Daniel has given up at this stage.
7-3. Really comfortably going away. But a lot of things can happen between now and the next 4 points. It's like errors on return like that.
Seems as though you could have some. No, it's at net calling the timeout. And the coach seems to be a little bit worried about the recovery made by Danielle at this stage.
So barring anything else other than an injury timeout now, there are no more timeouts to be called.
It's just table tennis from here on. The other timeout you can get is what's called a toweling timeout. So at 6, 12, 18, when the scores after that, you can. But between those times, you're not even allowed to dry your face of sweat. It's become very regimented now in terms of the rules.
Because previously at the half court, you would have seen a towel under the table.
The towels are still here, but you can only use it at specific points in the game because people abused it in the past and used it as a legitimate timeout and things like that.
Back to the action. Walton 5, serving Riley 7.
Your words may be prophetic. It's now 7-6 from 7-1 it was.
6-7. It was 7-4 and now it's 6.
Yeah. Danielle is far too defensive. She should have attacked that ball just now.
8-6 with Riley in service. Slicing serve.
Strong backspin.
Different set of spin on the ball.
That's right.
9-7-6. Isn't handling that one.
No.
6-7-10.
I think that's about it now.
Going for the kill, but long. 7-10. Delicate serve.
Okay. As you said, it's a service game. So we'll see if Annette can hold serve now, or we'll see a change in the trend.
10-8.
That's it.
Off the net. And that's game and set. 11-8. So, Antoinette Riley prevailing eventually.
Annette clearly the stronger player of the two. As I said, a lot more experience. She's been playing at the regional level since she was 9 and 10.
And that's the end of the first semi-final in the women's competition. Remember, this coverage is brought to you compliments of the Barbados Olympic Association. And welcome back to the Barbados Table Tennis Center here in Nursery Road. The first semi-final in the men's element, part of the Barbados Olympic Association's 50th anniversary of independence celebrations. 25 sports in 27 days. I've got the pleasure of Colonel Brown with me, and we're about to see the first men's semi-final between Mark Dowell and Dale Rudder. Dowell in the red, Rudder with the spectacles and the grey shirt.
That's right. Mr. Dale himself showing that his skills don't only lie in calypso. Actually a very strong table tennis player. He's been playing for lots of years. Was a junior champion. Uses it mostly for exercise, but is definitely one of our talented players down here.
Yeah. We had a joke earlier as he was trying to get over one of the field of play barriers where we weren't sure whether it was measles or pneumonia in that troubled left knee, which kind of also robbed him of his other love, which is playing football.
Absolutely.
But as a Queen's College student just next door, I'm sure he would have christened this facility when it was open. As long as he has the time, he loves his table tennis.
Yeah, he's actually a regular at the table tennis center.
And I also know well enough to know that Dale is his own harshest critic.
Absolutely.
He doesn't need a coach to tell him what areas he's making the mistakes in.
Yeah, see, he's actually very much an expert on the game. You'll be surprised how the base of knowledge of table tennis, both technically and the current world champions and the current skills being used and all that. Remarkable chat. We'll see how he does against Mark. Mark is one of these top table tennis players in Barbados now for the last 5-6 years. Represented Barbados in practically all of our major tournaments in the last 10 years, really.
And I understand he's fresh from a tournament in Trinidad.
Absolutely. He's just back today, in fact, from a tournament that he attended in Trinidad. Haven't heard how well he's done yet, but whenever he gets the opportunity to, he's regularly invited to Trinidad for their big tournaments, and they seem to have been putting on quite a number of tournaments. I think this is the second or third time for the year he's been trying to keep his game up to scratch. That's the end of the warm-up time.
Right. While they're getting into their final stages before the actual game starts, where does Barbados stack up in terms of regional table tennis?
It varies. The problem with regional table tennis is that it has been growing significantly. Actually, 10 years ago, Barbados very, very close to the top. What has happened is that a lot of countries have invested quite a lot in table tennis, typically in Chinese coaching and Chinese players, and it's made a big difference to the game. We've improved a lot too, but the competition is much higher now. It's very good playing there.
Yes. Rudder attacking strongly and earning a point off the service of Dowell. Now Rudder's to serve.
Very strong side spin serve, but Dowell is, and again these two play quite a lot with one another, so they play on the same team in our national competition. Know one another very well.
Rudder down 3-1, not one to hold back anything. He wants to get on the offensive early o'clock. It's interesting. They tell me that when you're serving in table tennis, you must present the ball for your opponent to see it.
They're very clear rules.
However, your body position could be anywhere from backing your opponent as long as your hand holding the ball is available for you to see.
And as long as the umpire is able to see, both umpires, they're able to see the ball. And these are two very highly qualified international umpires that we have here. As you know, we have the World Cadets, and we had extensive training in preparation for that. So they're actually quite competent umpires that we have. The ball needs to be tossed 9 centimeters, about 6 inches or so.
Seems to be a serving infringement.
That's right.
So that's a let serve. Net again. Oh yes.
Good side spin. The other rule, of course, is that the ball, your hand must be completely open when you serve, so you can't.
You see the full range of trickery in service.
Oh, it's extreme. That is a brilliant shot from behind his back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, at this level, the service is, if you watch carefully, it's tremendous amount of spin being imparted in the ball when they serve. That was a very strong top spin serve. That you notice that's not the ball actually.
Leapt in the air.
Very strong side spin from Dale.
Takes me back to the days when the community college gymnasium opened and there was a series of international table tennis events up there.
Absolutely.
Exhibition by some Chinese players. And they almost went the length of the indoor portion of the gymnasium, smashing and looping and returning.
I would not be surprised if you see something of that order tonight. These play, at this level, these players play very, very well, and are quite competitive at the international level. So you may well be in for some. As a matter of fact, in one of our semi-finals, there's been an argument this afternoon that no match in the finals can compete with with one of the last match we had in the semi-finals last night.
So I've been hearing from the spectators. You missed some wonderful tennis last night. Mark Dowell ahead 8-5 on service to Dale Rudder. Rudder going to flick that one past Dowell.
Yeah.
Didn't make any contact with
It's
the
a really
board.
ambitious shot, I think.
Of course, Rudder is from the Deacons area, and around the corner from where he would have been living, and where I was born, was the Ricks Hall.
A Ricks man.
Just there in Bayswater.
That's absolutely.
Is there still a Bayswater table tennis team?
The nursery of table tennis in Barbados.
Well, apart from the Robot Boys School.
Well, the fellows from Ricks would tell you that they will swear by, if you didn't come to Ricks, you're not a serious table tennis player.
So, Dowell taking that first one, 11-5. And despite not going to 21 points, you have lost nothing whatsoever in terms of the ebb and flow of a table tennis game with the shortened version.
As a matter of fact, the researchers, they've done some research and it's demonstrated that the shortened version makes it a lot more competitive, far more interesting to spectators, and certainly a lot faster paced. So there's no room now to be great.
Ensures that the players must be on their A game at all times.
At all times, that's right.
So, Rudder with that bandage left knee, about to serve, a game down. Down to receive. Trying to force a pace, Rudder goes into the net. Long off the net again. So, 2-love, double serving. A bit too much pepper sauce on that one there. 3 serving love. And Dowell
Complete misserve there.
completely outfoxes everyone, including himself. had time for a brief smile at his own device.
Going for some extra spin, that was the case there. Completely missed the ball.
Rather trying the finesse aspect of his game now. The other thing that in another, how do you say it, hat that I wore when I was working in a sports retail store, the rubbers on these rackets. They're famous for players, according to their style,
Absolutely. And
wanting faster rubbers or rubbers with more spin.
and every player now have his own unique rubbers that he plays with. That was a brilliant shot there by Stadale.
Hopefully he doesn't run out of room. Dowell holding on, 5-7-3. No, Redder still has a serve.
As you know, the serve change every 2 points.
Right. Akers has space in the forearm, but he tried to get a little too wide on it and finds himself down 3-7-6. Forcing an error there by Dowell.
It's a
Again,
service error.
lost his serve. This one is a little closer. 6-7-5. Net serve.
Really trying hard to impart lots of spin in his serve. And you can
Oh,
see why,
yes.
because anytime you don't, you
Rod
get
is on
at
top
this
of it.
level, you get punished. Yes.
6 apiece, and Dowell is going for his serve.
So 6 apiece. This is one of the tower breaks you can take.
Right. They took one in the previous game at 7-5.
Right. There was a time when players did this whenever they felt convenient, so they kind of used it as to break the other person's concentration and things like that. Those days are done.
Often wondered how on earth you get the ball back on when it has that much spin on it. But they tell me the later you play it, Rather has spotted some perspiration on the table and has asked for the umpire Paris to come in, make the playing surface as neutral as possible.
Smallest
He's
thing makes a
ahead.
difference.
7-7-6.
Mistimed that defensive push.
There were the days when they told me that it was a clash between Riley's attacking and Farley's attacking and Trotman's defense and Prosper's defense.
That's right.
And every once in a while, Philip Hackett would get in there with some dogged determination. Those are the names of the days gone by.
There's still those kind of competitions, just different personalities now in some cases, but that's the nature of table tennis.
And I'm sure there's a veterans category. in
Absolutely,
club
yeah.
table tennis. And those
Competitive
guys
at
are
all
still
levels.
rather being forced to chase that one down. He's down 7-10. And he misses the return. So it's 2 games to Dowell. So the first one at 11-5. Rather improve. Losing this time at 11-7. And
Well, this coach is one of the favorites for the tournament. Probably one of the top seeds, who will not be playing tonight because he lost in a very, very, very close encounter in the quarterfinals last night. That's Tyrese Knight. commerce student. Outstandingly talented young player. Came out of almost nowhere about 3 years or so ago and stormed to the top of our.
Where's Dowell's coach?
I think he's decided that he don't really need a coach for this. So the coach is actually optional, and I think he's chosen to.
But they're all enjoying it. And equally important, the temperature of the rackets. Dowell to serve, leading 2 games to love. Love all in the third. Not calling on the umpire to do that cleaning himself. Ah, lovely long rally, and you can see the swerve and the revolutions of spin and those returns.
Ball really moves around the table tennis.
Did it catch something? No, it didn't.
Yeah, from this angle, you can actually see what the spin is actually doing to the ball. It's not straightforward at all.
And the ball has little or no markings on it, so you can't really even tell the revolutions,
True,
but
yes.
it moves so sweetly through the air. Arcs according to the spin put on it.
That's right. So looking at the opponent's racket is a critical part of the game, and seeing what he does with the ball when he serves.
And that one almost coming directly to us here in our commentary position. I was about to catch it.
That's right.
And
Definitely a reflex sport, John, where you depend on learned responses.
yes.
Beautiful shot from there, Rudder.
Rudder set up that shot wonderfully, pushing him wide on the backhand, and then going in the forehand smash down the vacant side of the court, bringing the crowd alive. Oh. Three all. I'm sure Rudder would want them to check the height of the net. I saw them using a gauge earlier when they started the game.
Yes, they do. They actually check before each game to make sure that it's exactly right, because as you can see, the slightest deviation makes a difference to a point.
That 1 millimeter.
Absolutely.
And I'm not sure whether Dowell ever played with the smaller ball. I'm sure.
Yes, he would have had the stint with the smaller ball too. Dowell has been around for a number of years as a youngster. One of those people came up with David Harris. He would have started here. He would not be like Dale from Ricks.
Right.
But he's been around for quite a number of years, from the 90s.
Oh, does it again.
Just trying to barely brush the ball to get as much spin as possible in. And unless you time it exactly, that's what happens. If the ball is wet, they normally ask one of the umpires to dry it. At this level, what happens in the serve, the amount and the type of spin imparted on the ball is absolutely critical. You may not even notice it if you're not familiar, but if you serve weak without much spin, you lose the point immediately. So lots of effort going to the service, as you'll see at this level.
Rather changing his grip for the Chinese pen hole to impart even more spin on it.
And that's an excellent serve.
Traditional grip. And those are the ones that you either have to let them go way low off the table to
Or
return,
play a really outstanding shot against it.
or counter it with a lot of power and counter spin.
And counter spin, that's right.
Ooh. Sometimes when the crowd draws their breath in, it may cause a wind current and cause the player not to be able to return the ball.
A slight deviation of the ball.
Yes. And one of the things
Rather seems to be admonishing himself for missing that opportunity.
It was an easy point. One of the things is you don't want any crosswind, No fans in the ceiling. You don't want anybody opening the door while the players in session. I think that one was one where the knees didn't allow him to get.
I don't think you can blame the wind for that.
Yes. As a matter of biomechanics. So. Dole receiving at 6-8 from Rudder. And Dowell acknowledging that he is and he's not allowed to go past the area. Probably would have done so on a normal club night.
That's one of Dowell's partners in his national team that he plays for in the national competition.
8 apiece. Dowell looking nervous.
At the top of his game, Mr. Dale can be a serious threat.
Oh yes.
As I said, he can be a serious threat.
And as in all sports, it's a matter of rhythm and execution, and none much better than that particular shot that he's managed to secure most of the night. Oh.
Just a little bit off of his timing there.
Yes. He didn't hold back on that one. He was going for it. 9 apiece. Changing the angle of attack this time, and rather instead of going for the one that was working, which was straight in front of him down the line, he wanted to go across court. Lovely rally building here. Oh, lovely return.
Oh, that is a good shot.
Worthy of some acknowledgement by Dowell. 10 apiece. And at 10 apiece, Rudder eases his spectacles off. Gives himself a little drying up. And Dowell making sure that both sides of the court are in pristine condition.
True.
Now that Rudder rallies. The flick of the locks as he awaits to receive Dowell's service.
Oh, that is a great shot. Unless you serve very, very strong, you open yourself to those kind of responses.
Rudder is trying to stage a comeback here. Oh, yes.
That's a great game.
Great
12. Comeback.
He's managed to break. So, this one is going to be a little longer than the previous.
Yes, that's a very good comeback from us.
4 straight, because Rudder has come storming back now, taken all the way down to take this third game of the contest in this semi-final, 12-10.
That's right. Dale is a very strong player in his own right. Not been playing as much as Mark at the international level in the last couple of years, but clearly a talented. He has phenomenal reflexes and is very, very fit, as he said, for his age.
I'm 48 and he's probably closer to 46, 47.
Yeah, he's around that age, but he thinks that for table tennis that's old.
You should look around and see that the likes of Gregory Prosper still playing, Chris Banfield still playing.
Well, but in the case of Gregory Prosper, he's playing, but not at this level.
And in his mind, he's probably still going at the speed that he was.
No, he's now like an encyclopedia around table tennis. He knows quite a lot about the game. He understands the background quite a lot. Loves an argument about table tennis, as you know.
And cricket.
But he's again a very much of a regular at the table tennis center.
So, rather, down 1-2. Started the 4th one. Love all. Ow. Ow, 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 ow. It's called for time there because
Seems
in
to have
trying
hurt his knee
Yes.
or foot.
It's his left knee. In trying to get his body across, and immediately Dowell has gone over to check him in an attempt to get his body across to play that stroke. And rather, he was not always as heavy as he is, and would have aggravated that knee again. And immediately,
I think they're trying to get some ice.
that will indeed hamper him and his ability to get through the rest of the games in the set. And knowing Dale will try to struggle through it, but in essence, he has nothing to prove. He has displayed some excellent table tennis. He's on the other side of 45 now. He can let his body rest and relax and still be able to put a bit of a schooling on any table tennis player who comes here,
Yes.
local, foreign, or international.
Yeah, it does require exceptional. You really stress your body in trying to respond to some of the shots that are needed at this level of the game. And he really was
And
fully stretched there at that point.
ice pack quickly applied.
Of course, there are rules that apply to this
Injury timeout.
injury timeout. There's a fixed time, and if you can get yourself together in that time, you see the match referee going to have a look and probably consult with the umpires about the rules that apply.
In the interest of the actual contest, as lenient as the tournament rules allow, I'm sure will be applied when your opponent comes over to make sure that you're okay, because they want to play versus having a walkover.
That's right, yeah, and these are genuine friends. I mean, this is the table tennis fraternity is actually a very, very close fraternity. They know one another very, very well. They travel together at tournaments. They play down here practically every night. And when we have tournaments, they play against and with one another. So they genuinely care about one another. So
Lots of bravado, but the camaraderie is there. It's just on the night when I'm facing you on the other side of the net.
of course, that bravado. In fact, the bravado is I think they put on that's to have to boost your image to get you to win, and also to give you bragging rights after.
Correct.
But the friendship is actually genuine, as you usually see at the end of the match. Those handshakes are usually genuine.
Genuine.
And you did notice that when Dale won with outstanding shots, that the first person to congratulate was Mark.
Mark.
Absolutely.
It's a sport. It's not as widespread before. Once upon a time, you would have been getting lots of children at Christmas getting a set of ping pong paddles with what we used to call the board knockers,
That's right.
and quite a few
you
people.
know, that's not exactly correct. If you were to come down here afternoon, you'd be surprised. It is very, very popular with young. In fact, there are far more youngsters playing than the older players. We have lots and lots of very young people. Lots of parents are now seeing it as an avenue to get for fitness, for example.
The number of mahogany dining tables that were converted into table tennis boards when parents were out.
And sometimes even when they were there.
All the ornaments are hidden.
That's true.
Put away safely while table tennis.
I'm sure we still have some of that.
And then there are fellas who would leave their bags and rackets on the board, so that the first game at lunchtime or break, their racket was there. Long after school in the halls at Combermere,
those would have been the bigger
Harrison
fellas.
College, the lodge. One of the concerns and considerations for an international venue, the height of the roof.
It would be difficult to meet the international standards with this. Remember, this was a building that we actually took over
converted.
and converted.
Mhm.
And so therefore it does not ideally match international standards. It does very well for our competition, but lobs and things like that, for example, with the ball would actually hit the ceiling. But in terms of a venue for a sport, table tennis is actually extremely lucky in Barbados. Because this is a dedicated table tennis venue which we've had since '98 or something like that.
Right.
So in that respect, the sport is very, very lucky to have facilities like this. But as you said, there are some. You notice that some lights have been put in to improve the lighting too, because the fluorescent lighting really wasn't. But we're very grateful for the venue.
And of course, once the other facilities are completed, the refurbishment to the Wildy Gymnasium,
That's right.
as well as community college.
And you will notice that when we have international competitions, we tend to take it to the gymnasium.
You certainly couldn't complain about the height of the roof in there.
Exactly. Or the lighting.
Rudder is back and serving. That one goes out off the net. Mark Dowell serving 2-love. And just in case people are wondering if that ball had come from the side and made contact with the opposite,
It would have been a
board,
perfectly
it would have
legal
been a
shot.
legal
So you
shot.
can go around the net.
Net called. 3 serving love. Where there's mobility. Not entirely different.
Yeah, he seemed to have gotten over that.
Strap that knee a little bit more.
Yeah, probably. Does seem to be favoring it a bit, but
Wins the point. 1-7-3.
no, he needs a good, strong service at this point to get himself back in the game.
Ah,
Uh,
1-7-4. Four, 7-2. So it's 4-7-3, sorry. Oh,
Wow.
rather going there a little overly aggressive. The point was there for the taking, but the
I
execution
think
was
he misread
slightly
his
off.
serve slightly.
Overcompensating there and missing the board.
And Mark does the same. If you look carefully, you'll find that because you need to watch the opponent's racket, and therefore what the opponents do is try to disguise what you see when you think you're watching. It's a very subtle game that they play. So in order to judge what the ball is going to do, you need to watch the racket. So what the opponent does is to try to disguise what they do with the racket. And when they're successful, they can confuse it quite significantly.
Whether it's the black rubber showing or the red rubber showing.
Exactly right. And what you actually do just when you contact the ball. Now that was a strong topspin. You notice at the last moment, that's why the ball went off the other end of the table. But he tried to disguise it as backspin when it was topspin. That is backspin. So you see the ball goes down into the net.
Rather down in the hole.
Yeah, Mark is a very
4-8.
strong player, a very wily player.
They're trying to pick up the pace with the return there. Dowell matching it. No. Serving at 10-4. And Rudder goes wide.
Yep.
Dowell wins 11-4 to go.
I think that was
3-1
the
up.
experience is actually showing here now. And to some extent, Rudder's injury. He does seem to be limping a little bit. Or favoring the left knee.
So the players take the opportunity, having played 4 games under normal circumstances, had rather not taken that third one. It would have been all over for him.
But you
But
still have the chance. You'd be
still has
surprised
a
the number
chance.
of games that the eventual winner comes back from. Sometimes 3-love. One, you get when the momentum goes with you, it really goes with you. So we'll see if Dale is able to pull himself out of it well now, or if Double will wrap things up.
Unforced error there by Rudder. Oh yes, controlling that point, drawing Double near, pushing him wide, and then shifting him out of the way when he was neither forward or
It's
back.
very, very good playing there by Dale Rudder.
And it must be frustrating when he can execute such intricate rallies and then makes those unforced errors. That's probably some of the rust from not being a regular competitor.
A stop spin there again that he misread.
So at 4-1. Oh yes. Double was trying to anticipate.
You okay?
Trying to anticipate the shot on the forearm. Was actually fooled by Rudder, and it went behind his back as he was trying to cheat across the board. So 2-7-4. That serve again. Oh yes. Level again. Oh yes.
Seems as though Rudder plans to make a fight of it.
Yes. Interesting serve there by Double. He was actually on the side of the board,
Yes.
backing his opponent when he served it. And by the time he brought his body back around into the face his opponent, the shot had been set up already. But it's now 5-all. Rather than serve.
Let's see if Rudder can pull this one back. A lot will depend on this serve.
6-5 to Rudder. Dowell will be saying to himself, I just need to win one more game and I'm through to the final. Long return by Rudder. Scores again level at 6. And the person who has to play them in the final is probably hoping that they can wrap up their game in 4 straight so they don't have to go through a lengthy.
Yes, you always hope that in the
Energy
semi-final
sapping.
that you don't have to take all your energy to get past that level. Because then you just get a very brief break before you into the critical finals.
And anytime it goes that long, you're more likely to have to go deeper into your bag of tricks and your opponent who's awaiting your joining them eventually will get to do a bit of school, a little homework on you. Especially when you have to come from 3 games down 7 each. That one touched the net.
They're rather getting some coaching from the sidelines just now.
Yes.
Encourage him to serve in the forearm.
Grimacing there a bit. Pain is weakness exiting the body. Yes. 9-7 now, Rudder. Some light bulb just went off in his mind.
Yeah, it seems as though he really planned to make a fight of it.
Hey, ball's kick. There you go. Intricate serve. Rudder now. Sensing. Taking his 5th one. He's up. Double serving at 7-10. Up 3 games to 1, but one mistake away from. Oh,
Missed
I'd
that
rather
shot.
missing that one. Still ahead, 10-8.
Just 1 point away from
Forcing.
digging himself out of a deep hole. Strong side spin.
Oh,
And then missed the kill.
it was there to put away. Didn't wait on the ball. Over anxious. Allowing Dowell back into the game. 10-7-9.
Oh, no.
Saw some sort of opening that wasn't there.
I think he misread his spin a little bit and went into the net.
But he can comfort himself in knowing that he actually prevailed 10-12 in the one game that he won. So 10-all is not a bad score. 11-10.
Can save another match point.
Yes.
And he does.
There you go. So we're going to have a 6th game. It's interesting.
Yes, it is very interesting. I'm a little bit surprised, quite frankly, that but Dale is playing. He did say that he intended to shock some of the younger players tonight. I guess I'll have to learn to take him more at his word.
Well, he's the almost equivalent of Muhammad Ali. I've seen him say he was going to do some stuff with a football on the field, and he went on to do it.
Yes.
Likewise with the table tennis ball.
Yes, he is a very talented player.
The scores should reflect 3 games to 2 now. And
I guess we'll do that
there
shortly,
you
yes.
see it. And the adjustment as the ends at which the players are serving changes, so Rudder getting some additional assistance, probably a bit of medication as well. Not sure if he's getting some chicken soup.
As long as it's legal, because Dr. Laurie is very concerned about these
Supplements.
supplements.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just water or something like that.
Yeah. And if it could be corrected by surgery or what other therapy, I'm sure Dale would have had it done.
Right.
Because this has been plaguing him now for possibly 20 years.
Many years, yes.
Where here he is now, having taking an important second game. Looking to ride on that momentum, but Love won. Almost going into that area where he hurt his left knee.
Good exchange.
Still a bit gingerly as he awaits service at 1-0. Subtle rotation of the wrist there, putting a little more pace on that return.
And reading the spin that went into the ball, very good shot.
Oh,
And that's a lucky edge.
He'll take it. He's now up 3-7-1. Oh, yes.
They'll really come out on a roll for this game.
Is he going to storm and make it? I'm not sure.
So Mark calling the timeout at this stage.
Oh, someone who has identified himself as Mark's coach.
That's as I tell you, that's his
Who's
key
not in the
teammate.
designated area for coaches. Let's call it for timeout.
And
He's
so-
entitled to it, even although he's not in the location explicitly designated at the start of tonight's proceedings for players.
Yeah, I
and
don't think they're going to be
officials.
too tough on that because there are two places designated and they'll happen to have chosen that place, but I don't think the umpires will be too concerned about that. But it's just clear that his teammate thinks that he sees what he's doing wrong and what he needs to adjust, and encourage him to call the timeout so he can get a chance to actually get Mark to wrap things up. Because the way things are going now is looking
The momentum swing is with Dale.
that it does, and it looks like a clear 3-all, and then a decider, which is you have to be very careful with those sort of things.
And if it gets to the decider, do they go to 11 as well, or is
It goes to 11, but at 5, they'll change
switch
just like they
ends.
do with
in most other service
in many of
games,
the other games. Right?
once you get to that?
So let's see if the advice from his technical advisor makes any difference to Mark Dowell.
Rather, deserve to
That's
double.
Brian Matthews, the player who actually
Gave him
adopted
the
the role of
advice.
coach. Yeah. They're just thinking that he just missed an easy shot, but we'll see.
Five. 2-5 now. Dowell. Somehow put off of his game.
Oh,
3-5. Rather to serve. Not waiting on the ball. Not hitting it at its apex. Smashing it down too much. Into the net. And all of a sudden, no, it's back level at 5 apiece.
which means that the timeout really achieved its purpose. Now back on even. And Dowell moves into the lead now. That was
Dowell, no.
a very weak shot there from Mark Dowell. High ball. He mistimed it, misjudged the spin, and into the net. Oh,
Ryder goes down with that smash. And the atmosphere has changed tremendously in the Nursery Road Tennis Center. As this game 6 is seesawing, it's now 8-7-6. Dowell. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
oh, that's a very good recovery there from Dale Redden.
And at a point which he thought he had won the previous shot before, Dowell put it back on and then he recovered well and McDowell made another error.
That's right. Very strong serve on double there.
9, serving 7. So it's
Critical,
service change
critical points there for Mr. Dale Rudder.
Got to hold these 2 points. Oh. Serving again.
Game match point here for
Match point on the line. Ah, yes. A stay of execution.
Yep.
However, Dowell serving at 10-8. Up 3 games to 2. And that's it.
That's it.
So, in the first semi-final between Mark Dowell and Dale Rudder, Dowell given a stern examination by Rudder, but emerging 11-5, 11-7, 10-12, 11-4, 10-12, 11-8 to take it in 6 games. And just to let you know, this coverage of the table tennis final is brought to you compliments of the Barbados Olympic Association.
Great.
And welcome back to the Barbados Table Tennis Center here in Nursery Road, where we're about to see the second semi-final women's action now. Part of the Barbados Olympic Association's 25 games, 25 sports in 27 days. In the pink, Janae Lewis playing Anne Reid in the green, and my supporting cast we'll have Colonel Brown.
Okay, yes,
And already
we're back to
Lewis-
live action.
Lewis is forged ahead by 2.
Really old veteran in the ladies table tennis.
The clashes of the years gone by would have been between herself and
Kabibi.
Mosley.
That's right.
What has become of Kabibi Mosley?
Well, Kabibi, I think she did engineering. She's now living, I think, in California, or she has been when I last checked. And doing very, very well. I don't know how much time she has for table tennis now. She's more into the family business now. But Kabibi is
I can picture it here now because Lewis is built similarly to Mosley, slightly shorter than Reid, very light on the toes and bouncy and bubbly.
and plays a similar style of game that Kabibi did too.
Must be giving Reid nightmares. Reid, a long-standing stalwart of the BDF sports program. Top-ranked female player for many years. Served
Lots and lots
Barbados
of
well.
experience, yeah.
Please tell me she does some coaching.
She's a jack of all trades in table tennis. Coaching, mentoring, playing, administration.
And like the good Shaolin monk, you don't teach the students everything you know.
Well, the aim in table tennis is to do exactly that, and the argument being that that's how the whole sport moves forward.
And improves.
Yeah.
Well, the score being 7-5. Lewis.
Double in time.
Max.
So this is a battle against of experience versus youth.
So, first game. Reed battling back at 7-8 now.
Janelle has a very deceptive spin trial. She has a special rub in her backhand, a pimple. She's
Not the traditional one.
causes the ball to do some funny things, so you need to. And answers off, and first game goes to Janae.
8. So, Janae Lewis beating Ann Reed in this first best of 7. 11-8. Ann won't be too hard on herself.
She needs to tighten her game if she's going to do that against Janae. Janae is a very compact player, but she's very consistent. And she's learned to get the most out of that special pimple rubber surface she uses in her backhand. So if you're not careful, it puts an unusual spin and flow onto the ball. So you need to be very experienced to play against pimples. I personally hate to play against pimples myself.
Different tempo.
So the ball comes off completely differently. So it takes a lot of experience to actually adjust to that.
And then she has the added advantage. People seem to think that the taller, rangier players have a wider
Short is
range,
better.
but it's a center of gravity thing, and shorter is better.
Exactly. It puts you at the right height of the table to get the ball. And tall players really have to bend over. Probably where you Chinese is best at.
2-all. Reed serving to Lewis. 3-2.
Yeah, so this is a game of service strategy. Okay.
And you can tell the difference between that pimple.
Yes,
rubber
it even
and
sounds
the other
different.
one.
And she missed that shot. Now, if you watch carefully, you'll find that Anne is either going to serve no spin or side spin to try to counter the pimple watch. That side.
Masterful return. Unless she had anticipated that and compensated for the ball.
And that's
veering
no spin.
away.
That's very good serving there from Anne.
Whoa.
Ooh. Just missed that ball completely.
Went to chop it, but ball scooted over her racket. Seven, 5.
You see that side spin serve to try to nullify the effect of the pimple.
Again, a bit
So
adventurous.
this has been a service game so far. The strategy of serving. Let's see if Janae can recover from this. Using her experience here.
And that's it.
A steady
Honors
experience.
even now. Reed storming back to take the second game, 11-5. Whatever errors she picked up and weaknesses Reed picked up in Lewis, she exploited them.
Yeah.
Having
I think she
lost
just
the
settled
first
down
game, 11-8. She's back to win it 11-5. And as you said, she settled down because to set up the area, I didn't remember that Anne was going to be playing in the semi-final. Because she was here busy making sure that the field of play was
she's
set
the one
up.
that would have set up the whole playing area and all that. Yeah.
the umpire's chair, the score corners.
She's also a qualified coach, a qualified umpire. She really loves table tennis. Let's see what Janae's coach is gonna try to do to counter this new approach that Anne has introduced. What she's done is slow the game down, taken the top and back spin out of the game, which benefits Janae. And she's gone to side spin and no spin and consistency. So let's see if Janae now is going to take a different approach rather than depend on her pimple. She may be more attacking now. Let's see.
The tempo of the game is being quite leisurely. Janae Lewis serving to Anne Reid.
That's a good point.
Change from defense to attack.
She's a lot more aggressive than this now. So that's probably the advice she got from her coach.
1-0.
And you notice that Anne has changed her tactics now too. She's going back to what she did in the first game.
Could never figure out why they would go to the choppy game as opposed to move the ball around and set up the other point. Especially knowing that your opponent has a racket with an unorthodox pimpled rubber.
Sometimes it's just a matter of responding to the strategy that your opponent chooses to make, and the coach would tend to guide that.
Ooh. Interesting. I'm sure
surprised
that
they just put that ball back
into play.
Yeah,
Awfully nice of her.
that's a beautiful shot from Anne.
Clearly, the instruction by her coach was just get the ball back on and wait for Reid to make the mistake. But Lewis serving at 5-4. Yes. 4-6 Reid. Unable to get that one back. 4-7. Unforced error there by Lewis. 5-7-5. And Reid calls for let.
I think she's basically saying she wasn't ready for the serve.
And she had her hand up at that early enough point in time. Lovely smash and return. Change.
Oh.
5-7-9.
I think Anne has gone back into the mode of the first game and it's not really working for her.
Ten, 7-6. And that's it.
That's it.
Game to Lewis at 6. So
Now, if Anne had a coach, what she would probably tell her is to get back to that second steady, slow game. She tried to speed this game up, and it isn't working for her against Janae.
and clearly Lewis would prefer a faster paced game.
And I'm sure that's what her coach is here telling her now, that
So as long as the tempo is
keep the pace up,
quick.
it's working for her. You can see that Mark Dell has adopted the role of coach for Anne. Players all know one another well. They represent Barbados together, so people always step in to give advice. It's interesting when you're playing, you miss obvious things that even you as a coach would do for others. So the coach actually plays a critical role in the game and in the outcome of the game.
Of course, the other thing is to have the mindset to recognize that someone is actually trying to help you eliminate an error.
I think most players recognize the value of a good coach, and so they tend to listen to advice. You can't talk about table tennis and coaching and not talk about Mr. David Harris.
Oh, he's probably coached all.
Forever. If you haven't been coached by David Harris, you don't play table tennis in Barbados. It's as simple as that. And he's still here, very, very active with lots of young kids.
So, 2-0 to Love. That's 1-2. And there you can see front and center, even as the rally is taking place, the camera has managed to pick up Mr. Harris in the front row seat, giving his instructions and analyzing nod of approval there as he's taking in some of what is going on in the table tennis. Not only a teacher by profession, but a teacher of table tennis. And with the score at 3-all, Lewis takes the opportunity to have her towel break. And there she goes with her height advantage at 4-3. Now read the serve for, and Lewis pouncing on that serve and putting it away. Return a bit long. 6-5.
Yeah, she's actually playing very well, very steady and fairly consistent, which is her strength. She's a very consistent, steady player.
Very quick toe break this time around. It's interesting, they don't even look and see where their opponent is when they're serving.
They do. You may not notice it, but
8-5. 5-8, read long on that return. Nine serving 5, Lewis to read. 9-6.
Good attacking shot there from her.
Not executing the smash well there. Losing sight of that one. Looks as though the whole right side of the court would have been open up. 10-8. Oh,
that's a bad miss. But you were saying that but you'd be surprised that when you're serving, you do look to see where the opponent, and even you may be surprised that they would notice if their opponent's racket is wet, if they're facing with the black or the red side. And actually, just a little glance, you pick up lots of it, and you need to if you're to play the game effectively. So it is really a fast-paced game.
And so fast that Janae Lewis took it at 11-9, and now she's getting some additional information. She looks
from
as
her
though
coach,
she's
Julia
really
Morris.
trying
Yeah.
to.
You know, Julia is one of our well, probably a leading female coach. She actually works at the National Sports Council, coaching table tennis in schools. Very experienced player too, and very good coach. Works with lots of the youngsters throughout the schools and here at the center.
Just remembering there used to be a Cuban with the sports.
Still
council.
here. There's still a Cuban table tennis coach working working with the program with the youngsters. As I said, the young program is actually very, very. You'll be surprised at the numbers that are here on the afternoons, and the sports seem to be growing among the very young people. So people like Tyrese Knight would have come out of programs like that. This same Julia, she would have been picked up at St. Michael's School by Julia, and developed to the stage now where she's actually representing us internationally and doing quite well. So the program is actually working.
4 games completed, 3 of them gone to Janae Lewis. The first one at 11-8. Lost the second one at 5-11. Stormed back to take the next one at 11-6. The previous one at 11-9. I know. Game 5, it's
now Anne has gone back to her service game of no spin and side spin to come to the
1-7-3.
See, this is the game that works for Anne. So Janae needs to come up with a plan to deal with this.
Takes forever. Oh yes.
Very good.
Showing a lot more patience this time around in the rallies. Even though she's down 5-2. She's serving now at 2-6. Up 3 games to 1.
Oh, luck of the.
Terribly sorry.
Well, you're supposed to say that.
Reed serving at 7-3. Oh. Lewis tricking Reed into thinking that a smash was on, but it didn't quite get the height for it.
Yeah, you really have to judge the ball coming off the pimple when you're going to do that. She got it right this time.
Take evasive action. Return it or wear it. No real damage.
No damage. Just
That's long by Reed. 5-8. And it's short this time. 8-7-6. Oh, impatience there by Lewis.
Yes.
9-6. Reed serving to stay alive. Oh.
Seven, 9. Let's see.
7-9.
8-9. That's
8-9.
very good comeback from Janae.
Oh. Almost like a ballerina, but not quite. 10 serving 8. And she's giving it up. So, Reed.
A replay of the red double situation.
Mm-hmm. We're going to have a
3-2.
game. And all this while, Antoinette Riley is sitting, having won her first semi-final women's match, 4 straight. 11-9, 11-7, 11-2, 11-8. So she had to sit and wait and watch. acknowledgement for Dale Rudder and his exploits in losing to Mark Dowell in the first of the men's semi-finals.
Yeah, that's the Dale Rudder fan club.
Yes.
Somewhat
Very
of a mentor for the lot of young players here.
Any of them that want still points, they can check Dale for that. He lost 11-5, 11-7, 12-10, 11-4, 12-10, 11-8 to Mark Dowell. And now Mark is sitting watching to see who between Christian Doughty and Shannon Duglin will join him in the finals. But right now it's Anne Reid in the green, serving to Janae Lewis, sorry.
Janae.
Love one. One all. It's not quite her bedtime yet. She can't be in such a hurry to wrap it up.
Yeah, she is rushing and not taking her time this game.
And the slower game suited her. Well, sorry, it
She,
suited
she,
Reid.
she is rushing, yes. So.
Slight difference between speeding up the game and being too anxious. Well, she has service now at 2-4. That serve.
So she's surely coming back there.
Reid serving at 5-3. Should we take this? We go to a 7th game. And her coach calls time. So, timeout by Janae Lewis.
The tactics is everything in table tennis. Tactics and reflexes. So the training you do all the year round and all week long, but in the match, you depend on your tactics and your reflexes and your coach.
So, well, why we can see the two umpires. Who decided that it was khaki pants, sky blue shirts, and a red tie?
I think this was the standard uniform they use for the World Cadet Challenge. It's internationally approved. The tie and everything is so the only thing missing really is the jackets, and it tends to be quite hot in the center, so they probably would have dispensed with the jackets because of that. But quite apart from that, they meet the international standard there.
And air-conditioned rooms is optional, so I'm the only clown in a jacket here. I've got my jacket on because I'm doing official business.
Okay, fair enough.
And cool is a state of mind. Thank you very much for that bit of information, Colonel Brown. And we'll be coming towards the end of the events for the Barbados Olympic Association's 25 sports in 27 days. While we're watching the 7-3 scoreline here, just a brief assessment of how the actual event went.
The one word, fantastic, to be quite honest, way beyond our expectations. My organizing committee is extremely pleased at how things have gone, and to the extent that we are absolutely convinced that this has to happen again next year. It's been really phenomenal. Very good, very good. What's particularly rewarding has been the response from the athletes. That has been the icing on the cake for us. You can see it here, but in all the other games too, in badminton and swimming and sailing, the athletes have been phenomenal.
As Reid serves at 7-5, puts that one into the net, 7-6. The strange thing about it is most people would have represented Barbados at some point in time, but it was more pride of being a participant in the sport, not so much as being on a national team at the time, as the score now is 7 apiece. Yeah, they seem to enjoy knowing that they had at some point in time worn the national colors.
That's true.
And the various
That's the other time out now.
Right. Gives us the opportunity to wax lyrical when we talk about the various people who have represented the various sports.
Yes.
In this instance, table tennis.
Right.
And even though those who are not playing, the old stagers, they lend some sort of mentorship or coaching,
Yes.
or just come around to be a person returning the ball on the other side of the court. So you don't have to
Or
flip.
just a moral support for their favorite player or for their teammate from
Correct. So you don't just
club
have to
team.
flip the board up on one half and hope that it comes back to you.
True. Yeah, the other thing is, well, in many of the sports, there are lots of people who have represented Barbados, but the opportunity to play in front of Barbadians is what these games bring to these people, and I think this is something that they really appreciate. It's one thing to go to the US and be one of 10 people that represent Barbados, but to do it in front of Barbadians and your fellow players brings a special reward, I think.
And the fans and the players actually sort of get an opportunity to say a thank you for the support. And as in terms of the development, as Reed is serving 7-10 down now, it shows you that, you know, despite the fact that world rated or medals wise, as it's over now, Lewis takes it 11-7. So she'll be joining Riley in the women's final. And before we take the break on this one, just wanted to finish that point. The players, as the fans here in the tennis center, recognize the exploits of Janelle Lewis, winning 11-8, 5-11, 11-6, 11-9, 8-11, 11-7.
And especially with that great comeback in that last game.
They really wanted to give the adoring Barbadian fans a thank you for the opportunity to have represented Barbados and to show that despite the fact that we may not medal or get into the finals of some events, we are playing the sport at the level at which the best in the world play it.
Right. And even as you can see here, I mean, the difference between top players is often attitude and preparedness and all that. And what happens at the international level is that people tend to get lots more exposure to this kind of pressure. And often we have players that match everybody else, but that little edge. So it's not that you may come back with no medals, but it's not that Barbados that our players are way below. It's just the refining edge that is needed, that is honed by experience and, you know, the opportunity to compete at a high level on a regular basis. So that's something that we need to work on.
And while we take this break, just a reminder that this coverage of the table tennis tournament in the Barbados Olympic Association's 25 sports in 27 games is brought to you compliments of the Barbados Olympic Association.